The 2008 NAFB Hall of Fame Awards are brought to you by the United Soybean Board. Our soybean checkoff. Effective, efficient, farmer-driven. Past winners of the award include Bob Bice, Larry Haig, Herb Plambeck, Chuck Wooster, Lane Beatty, Sam Schneider, Bob Miller, Marvin Vines, Roy Battles, George Bigger, Phil Lampe, Earl Sargent, John McDonald, Russell Pearson, Mal Hansen, Art Page, Milt Bliss, Jack Timmons, George Logan, Maynard Speece, Wallace Catterley, Ray Wilkinson, Bill McReynolds, George Stevens, Jack Jackson, Dix Harper, Frank Atwood, Orion Samuelson, Dean Curtis, Art Seacrest, Wayne Lyles, Roddy Peoples, Ed Sluzarzik, Bill Drips, John Baker, Keith Kirkpatrick, Creighton Canal, Jack Crowner, Ed Johnson, Cliff Mitchell, Harry Martin, Gene Reagan, George Menard, and Bob Nance. And now, here is our first NAFB inductee for 2008. Dink Embry was born in Love, Kentucky on the 2nd day of May, 1920. His given name is Drury Rathel Embry. Now, most folks won't know it, and if they do, they'd say Drury Russell, but it was Rathel. It doesn't matter much because his dad, a rural mail carrier, gave him a nickname that stuck, Dink. It seemed Dink always had a guitar or some other stringed instrument nearby he learned to play when he was just 8. That first song was Wildwood Flower. A guitar and a little country boy comedy carried Dink a long way. He had just a 6th grade education, but about the time he was finishing up school, radio was calling the Dink. He was 11 and a regular on the Deed I Do Club with Randy and Bob Atcher at WHAS in Louisville. It was his first stop on the Clear Channel status radio stations across the nation. That's an AM that goes nationwide at night. There were others. He managed to spend some time with Red Foley and the Grand Ole Opry at WSM in Nashville, and as an early morning staff announcer on Atlanta, Georgia's WSB. He also appeared there on the Saturday night barn dance Coast to Coast. And then home called, or at least the home state, and Dink joined the staff at WHOP in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. It all happened before the start of the Second World War. World War II didn't stop Dink Embry from performing. He, like everybody else, was in the armed services, but he played in the USO band too. When he returned to WHOP and the Early Bird Show, the manager asked if he'd put a little farm news into his program of songs and conversation. And soon, International Harvester and Purina were sponsors, and the program expanded to 2 hours. Dink Embry conducted that program for just about half a century, and along the way he added an 11 to noon farm show. He married Elwanda Warder in 1942. They had a son and a daughter, Connie and Drury. Connie says her dad's job was fun. He even gave her a radio show, but mostly she liked to ride in that great big WHOP wagon out into the countryside to do interviews with farmers, tobacco and otherwise. Her mother, Elwanda, passed on at a very early age, and Dink remarried to Virginia Lyle. Connie named her own daughter after Virginia. The people of Hopkinsville loved Colonel Dink Embry. His shows with co-host and newsman Jim Love were filled with commercials and everyday people from Christian County, Kentucky. At one point, a farm broadcast media study showed of the 672 farmers interviewed, 87.5% said they depended on WHOP Farm Director Dink Embry. And why not? His programs were classic. They were local and filled with a little humor. Dink shared all he had for the good of the community. He was a member of the Honorable Order of Kentucky Colonels. So was Colonel Harlan Sanders. The Kentucky Colonels date back to 1813 and are dedicated, like Colonel Dink Embry was, to charitable works. Dink laughed and he lived, and even his 1996 retirement was a community-wide party. He rode to it in a limo, the only one in Hopkinsville. It was owned by the funeral home. Dink was a fixture in Hopkinsville and Christian County, Kentucky. The street in front of WHOP was long ago renamed. It is Dink Embry's Buttermilk Road.